All right, boys and girls, I got a very interesting story to share with you today. Mr. Patrick from San Jose, California. 26 years old. Very interesting story. He started working with us inside the Elevated Administrator program, I believe, in last December. And I don't know the exact number. He gave me the exact number before. I think you were making around, what, 2 to 3K? Like, what was the exact number in the November before you joined?
And November before I joined, the exact number was $2,589 doing 48 haircuts.
Doing 48 haircuts. And then it's September 1st at the time of recording this, in August 2024. What did you make in August?
I made $13,165 doing 162 cuts.
That's incredible. I think Patrick has an even more incredible story that I think is going to bring a lot of you guys value today overall. He went from, you were telling me before, you were working in finance before, then went into barbering. And again, I think it's just an incredible story. Why don't you give us a little backstory about yourself, dude, overall? Like, obviously, you're born and raised in San Jose, California. How'd you get into barbering?
So I just started cutting my friend's hair. I always had an interest in cutting hair, but I never took the leap and did the jump. He actually bought clippers and was trying to cut his own hair, and then he messed up, so I decided to take a jump at it. Since then, it's been 6 years since I've been cutting hair, and then I was in school at college, and then I went to work in finance for a year, and then after COVID, I was unemployed for a while. I started, accruing a lot of debt, like stimulus checks wasn't cutting it all the way. I decided to put myself through barber school and do this professionally. From that moment, I knew it was going to be hard because I don't cut anybody. Before I was in barber school, I don't cut anybody that's not like somebody I know, my friends and family. So when I started cutting random people and started charging people, it felt weird to me, like that this is my whole livelihood now. I don't get paychecks anymore. And then, so yeah, fast forward, I was cutting hair, my first year cutting hair professionally with my license and everything. I was not making anything at all. I was making like the rent was, I was fortunate enough to be doing part-time barbering, because if you do part-time, the chair rent is part-time. So I was paying less in rent, but I was barely even making that. So I was making 2,000, 3,000 on a good month, every month, like cutting hair. I tracked it in the year of 2023, my first full year cutting hair. I made a total of $30,700 from cutting hair. And it's not really a livable income in San Jose, California.
Absolutely. Now, you went into finance, and then you said you were unemployed. I know you were doing the barbering thing. Was there other careers that you were looking at as well too? Like, why'd you go to barbering? Like, I'm sure you had other options to go to. You went to school, obviously, was in finance. I'm sure you had a couple other options. Why barbering overall?
Yeah, growing up in a culturally like Asian household, my parents never wanted me to like be a barber or anything. They encouraged me strongly to maybe even go back to school. They're like, if you're not employed right now, go back to school, like get an MBA, get a CPA. You have a degree in finance, you can do anything with numbers. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I did the finance thing for a year, and like even though I was unfortunately laid off, it was not something that I liked. It's not something that I was like proud to say that I worked in. And now with my barbering career, I make more money than I made in my finance job in a year.
So for you, like you obviously like got yourself into barber school. You incurred like a lot of debt. Like how much debt? I know we talked about before. If you want to share that, that's fine as well too. If you don't, like how much debt did you actually like accumulate over that time period?
So in the course of 3 years, from 2021 to 2023, well, like 2 years, I had owed $23,000 on my credit card, and I had a $12,000 car payment, and I was barely making $3,000 a month, just keeping up with the insurance and the car payments and the booth rent because I live at home. And this is not like sustainable at all. I get a DM from Daniel, the Elevated Mentorship program. I was skeptical at first, but I was down so horrendously bad that I needed to take a chance on myself and do something for myself and my business that could really grow it to the next level. I've been seeing the videos, the ads. I was super skeptical at first, but I was like, you know what? Like it cannot possibly get any worse than this. I was thinking at the moment, I was like, if this actually doesn't work, then I might have to go back to finance.
Like obviously you felt like it was a little sketchy. What did you feel was sketchy about? Like what made you change your mind? I guess overall, like from it being sketchy to like, okay, no, this is legit.
Yeah, well, it's just like an Instagram ad. You just see these all the time. They're like, you lose 50 pounds in 30 days, or like, one of those things. Like make 20K a month in like 12 months. Like, wow, that would be nice. And now I'm almost there. You know what I mean?
Legit. So like, what made you like shift from that then? Because obviously that is a big mental mind shift. Was it like was it something like where you're still skeptical even coming in the program? Was it something like that happened before? You're like, all right, no, this is like legit. Like, what made you like, I guess, more convinced?
I've seen the results that you've gotten and testimonies from other barbers just like myself on video interviews just like this. Me personally, I know Anna Cuts. Like, she's like not too far from my area. We have mutuals together. So I was like, wow, this person from this small town is able to create this income and like, have these such amazing bounds and leaps in her business. business. And I'm like, well, I'm not too far from her, and like our towns are not too different, and we even have mutuals. Like she's like a regular person, I'm a regular person. Really, like what this program has showed me is like if you put in the hard work, anything is achievable, really.
Now, you said you had again like $20,000 in debt and another $12,000 like car payment or car loan you still have to pay off. Where are you at right now? Like after like we're only about like what 8-9 months into working together. How far are you into that right now?
I've since paid off my entire credit card debt and my car payment. My car's fully paid off. My cards are fully paid off. And now I'm just stacking money.
That's crazy, dude. Like, did you feel like that would turn around that quickly? Like from barbering alone, were you kind of like, all right, cool. Do you have like maybe like a 3-year plan to pay this off, 5-year plan, or kind of like, okay, you didn't expect it to come that quickly?
No, not at all. So I when I joined the program, I set goals for myself. I said, okay, I need to pay off this credit card debt. That's 23,000. I need to pay off my car. That's 12,000. And I want to have 10,000 in the bank account. I've achieved like 2 out of the 3 of those things already, and like I'm almost at the 10,000. The only reason I don't have 10,000 in my bank account right now is because I just finished paying off my car.
Yeah, dude, you're making like 13K a month, and we also just talked about legit on the Q&A call before you're about to have another price increase, so it might be going up as well too. Now you have a little bit of an interesting. We still got to talk about that one, but you still have a little interesting situation too, Patrick, right? Because I think if people saw your Instagram, they wouldn't expect you to have the business that you do. They might expect people, and we were talking about it with you earlier as well. Like you probably expect that business maybe from like someone who's doing like way more views and stuff like that. But you've been able to like really build a business just like very like good content that doesn't get a ton of virality, but still produces business results. Like in your opinion, what is really working for you overall?
I feel like it's solving specific problems, and these specific problems are personal to me because it's a problem that I had with my hair growing up. It was very hard to find, even though I live in a predominantly Asian town, it was hard to find like a good barber that knows how to work with Asian hair and style it like in the trendy ways that you see on TikTok and like online and stuff. My parents would take me to these salons when I was a kid, like for like $12 just because I have like 2 brothers. So my 2 brothers and my dad would all get a haircut for like $12 each. And each time it was horrible to the point that like I hated getting haircuts. I didn't even want to get a haircut. Yeah. So then it made me kind of look into barbering, like look into other barbershops, better barbershops. And I was like, well, what if I could be that barber that like gives the cool haircuts that like these kids don't have to go through what I went through? And it's a story that's resonated with a lot of people in my area and clients that have booked with me. When I ask them like, how'd you find me? What made you want to book an appointment with me? More or less, they say like, I like the consultations. I like that you do trendy hairstyles, know how to use scissors, and that you cut Asian hair. Like, and it's a problem. I haven't had a barber that knows how to cut my hair. And I was like, well, if you see online what I post and those guys look like you, sometimes you go into the barbershop, they have the poster. It's like a bunch of guys that look nothing like you. And if you look at my page, all these guys probably look like you, or you could find one guy that looks like you. So it's more like a tailored haircut.
And how did you? I know like you're still like professionally, you're only like what, not even a year or 12 months into cutting hair, correct?
Professionally, I got my license in June 2022. So it's been like a year and a half.
For you, like I
think.
Well, 2022 June. It's like that's 2 years, dude.
That's 2 years. Yeah. So I've only been doing this professionally for 2 years.
Yeah. Which is still crazy overall. I mean, like, what are your plans right now? Because obviously you're doing 13K a month. You're looking to obviously, I think we can easily get this up to 18, 20K a month, especially with the price increase coming up. By end of year, we keep on pushing down on this. I mean, like, look, dude, you're getting like 81 new clients at the $70 price point right now. What is your like goals that you have for yourself, set out for yourself as a barber that you want to see in the next 12 months?
My goal, my promise to myself, and my promise to this program. The promise in this program was you can make up to 20K a month. I will plan to be hitting 20K a month by Christmas this year. I think that's very doable for me.
I think for you, I guess like reflecting on just like, our time working together in the last like 8 to 9 months, what's like been the biggest lesson or moment that I guess you've learned from throughout our time working together? Like what's been the biggest lesson so far that you've taken away?
The biggest lesson for me is accountability. How I even got into this problem of unemployment and debt and stuff was because I wasn't good with my money. What Daniel has taught me is to track every income, every penny leaving your bank account, having it come out of one bank account. So not spending off the Venmo balance and stuff, having everything come out of one account. So it's trackable, not spending in cash, deposit everything, and then like track every expense, like every penny. It takes the whole guessing game out of finances and therefore making decisions that will help push the business forward.
Wait,
yeah.
So you were in finance and so weren't good with like accountability on money?
I was just not good with my money. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm good with other people's money. Like, let's go and figure that thing out. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's more of like a what's it called? Like you were so burnt out, like figuring out everybody else's problems that you were kind of like, screw it on mine, or what do you think that was?
Well, obviously, I was like kind of like a random spender. Like I would just spend leisurely, like, oh yeah, I can go out for lunch. Like I wouldn't think too much about it. And then like I don't track it. And then I'm like spending 20, $50 a day just going on lunch, going with my girlfriend, going to get boba. And then it adds up like a lot. So I had to tell her, maybe we stay in today. Like we go Costco, we can get some chicken bakes, we can go cook. I had to adjust my lifestyle, but then I still wasn't tracking it. I didn't know how much I was saving or how much I was spending. But when you really track all the numbers, it helps you get a clear idea. It's like, well, I'm spending way over than what I'm saving and what I'm making. Like this is not okay. And then to the point where any like little money that I would get after paying all my bills and expenses, it wouldn't be like a whole lot left in the savings. Maybe I can like tackle down like a little bit of credit card debt at a time, but it would just like slowly inch up and get like a little bit more and more to the point where it's like I need to do something for myself and my business, like join a program like this.
I mean, I think to kind of bounce back off that, I think a lot of barbers have that problem, right? Like, was this a problem when you were a barber, or even before barbering as well?
Well, before I was a barber, I was just like, fuck it, or like forget, like I'm gonna get a paycheck, it's fine. I can spend this money on lunch. I'm gonna get a paycheck. It never really dipped into the negatives, with the finances. It was just like maybe like would hover around like a median or like a median debt or expense that I would spend per week, but it would always just like come back positive. And then during the unemployment, that was like the toughest lesson of my life, like to just be more frugal and be more mindful with the money because the money is not coming. Every haircut is like every hour of work, every like piece of hair that I take off somebody's head is directly correlated to how much money and my livelihood for that day, that month, and living it day by day, haircut by haircut. Working professionally for a whole year without making any money at all was very tough.
Yeah, I think a lot of barbers have that same issue. Honestly, like even like I mean, it's one of the first things like we changed up in the elevated mentorship program. Like we used to have the finance like modules like later in the program, and then we're like, dude, we gotta help these guys out with like for tracking their finances, keep more money. It's like one of the first things, obviously, when you got on board with your CSM overall, and like inside the program is like go through that financial tracking sheet, start tracking this thing, start cutting expenses out, and it's like, dude, sometimes it's just as easy as like just everybody can take out a simple Google tracking sheet, go into their into their bank account, track every single expense, and then just look it over and be like, all right, what was needed and what was not needed, and then just count the stuff that was not needed whatsoever. I guess for you, dude, like let me go with another question real quick. Yeah, I guess for you, Patrick, right? Because I know, like, I remember very early on, like, you were on every Q&A call. We're looking over content. I could tell you're kind of getting frustrated with the content because it wasn't bringing clients in overall. And I think, like, you always have to have, like, an anchor or, like, something, like, to really, like, lean on, or, like, the motivational point to, like, a vision of, like, to lean on during those hard moments. Like, what was that for you overall that really got you through and carried you through maybe the early stages of, like, the program and really getting this thing up and going?
Just the fear of failure, man. Like this thing is like chasing after you like a dementor.
Yeah.
Like like if I do not succeed, everything is going to be terrible for me and I'm going to have to go back to finance.
Like you like no matter what, you were not going to go back to finance no matter what. Like you already had like too bad of an experience with that.
It was just not for me.
And then I mean, like, so you really just use like that fear, that pain of like, okay, I went through this. I'm like kind of like the burn the boats moment. Like I am not giving myself the out to go back to it, even though like you're like I have them in my back pocket, but I do not want to go back to that no matter what.
Absolutely. Well, because I've invested so much in barber school and like switching my whole career from the ground up, like making no money, accruing more debt actually. If I had just turned tail after 1 year of barbering professionally, like, yeah, it didn't work. It just made me feel like I wasted so much time.
I guess for you, I know we already talked about accountability, right? Now I'm big on mindset overall. Like, show me your habits and I'll show you exactly like the results you get in your life overall. Like outside of like taking accountability, let's say in terms of like the finance and stuff, what are the other some good like habits or mindset shifts that you've had like in working with us overall over the last 9 months?
So actually, I was just kind of living like my life day by day and like, hopping on these calls, getting feedback. But like it was after the Miami trip, I saw how meticulously everything was planned. Like you even showed us an insight of your daily schedule. So like immediately, like in the hotel room, I made a Google Calendar, like, okay, 10 o'clock to 6 a.m., that's when I'm going to sleep. And then 6 a.m. to 7, that's when I'm going to the gym. And then it's like a schedule that I live by now. I always make time for calls like this. I always make time for sleep. I always make time for training, as well as work and personal things. Like it's just time blocking. Yeah. So you can do it if you want to, or you can do nothing. But so this was something that you said. So you might as well do it. Like you could study or you could do nothing, but you can't do anything else. You better just study because that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, for like context, like obviously like time blocking is like legit. If you have a calendar open, you block out time in the calendar for that activity. And I think it was something I heard from Jerry Seinfeld, or not just from Jerry. It's from Jerry Seinfeld, but I heard it from, I think Hormozy talked about it.
Exactly,
Maybe
yeah.
some other individual as well too. Basically, what it was it said like you could sit down and like in that time block, you can't do any like you don't have to do the thing, but you can't do anything else except for the task you're supposed to be doing during that time. So again, if you're like editing content, you don't have to edit content for the hour, but you also can't do anything else. You kind of just gotta sit there. And it's like at that moment in time, it's like you might as well freaking do it, like Patrick said. What about anything else, like in terms of habits wise, or anything else that you've picked up on? I know the Miami trip was pretty huge. Anything else that you picked up on as well?
Yeah, like so people ask me like, "Oh, so you're a barber? You like how long you been a barber? Like, what do you like to do outside of cutting hair and working?" I'm like, "Wow, there's not a lot of things I do outside of working. Like, cause I'll be the first one in, the last one out of the shop every day, and then I'll go home and I'll edit videos, and then like I'll hop on calls and like just keep myself like accountable for my business. I kind of, in terms of like what I've learned from the program is just like putting in that work, man. Like the work ethic is directly correlated to income and success.
I guess for you, I know. Obviously, you talked about going into finance. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Like, let's say in your journey this far, you felt might be valuable to like anybody who's listening as well. Like anything that you could touch on, maybe like sharing a little bit more of your story.
Yeah, man. Like I did the traditional route, man. Like I didn't even want to finish college, but I did it to make my parents proud. I didn't want to work in finance, but I did it to like make my parents proud. But nothing makes them more prouder than me making a fuck ton of money.
Facts.
Nothing will make them prouder.
So just like overall, like you focusing on like again focusing on that fact of like just making more money overall again to something that like you also enjoy and like going down that pathway instead of like what they feel like is best for you overall. Correct?
I think it just comes from a place of concern. They're like thinking like, oh, like we know barbers, like they don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's like this is the new era of barbering, and this
Yeah.
is how we make money.
How do you feel like your viewpoint has changed of like barbering overall? I know you came in with like very positive mindset and like more so hopeful of like, all right, I'm gonna make myself this thing. Like, how has your mindset changed with the barber industry and maybe in the last 9 months overall?
You can see it in local shops around you or the people around you, like your rate of growth versus their rate of growth, and like what you're doing. I'm doing things like I'm recording like every new client with their permission. Obviously, I'm putting in the work. They see me grinding. The first thing that people told me when I started making videos, I thought they were gonna think I was corny. Like, oh man, you're just one of those like guys, and like everybody. That's what everybody thinks when you make videos. Like, oh, he's just like a freaking influencer. He's just trying to get famous. Like, I'm not trying to get famous. Like, that's just a byproduct of my hard work. I never wanted to be famous. I never wanted to be like recognized on the street. But I wasn't afraid to put in that work. And so the first thing that they would see when they see me is like, yo, Patrick, I've been seeing the videos, man. Like, hey, what's the angle? What kind of equipment do you buy? And then like, I'm not gatekeeping. It's like, yo, it's just like, something on Amazon. I'm just trying these video things out, like, okay, yeah, that's really cool, man. Keep it up, man. I love the videos. The feedback was like extremely validating, like from people that I went to barber school with, and like I wasn't doing this back then. I was just there. I was just there cutting hair and like trying to get my hours. But yeah, putting in all that work, it definitely gets recognized, and people shy away from it. Like in general in the industry, like they're afraid to get down and get dirty and like do the hard stuff that will get you the results. And like they'll make excuses and say like, oh no, that's corny, or no, like I don't have time, like I have too many other things. It's like there's 24 hours in a day, and like taking a video clip and like doing a little editing maybe takes like 1 hour just for one haircut. Yeah.
Do you see like other barbers around you like still like not really coming around the fact, even though you're like living proof, still not coming around the fact of like, okay, got to make content, got to push the business forward? Like, do you still see people like staying in that mentality, like the older mentality, or do you feel like people are coming around that at least you're around in the barbershop right now?
There's a lot of OGs in the barbershop industry. I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody particularly that I know, but it's just like it's just a common thing that you see in the industry that like, yo, I've been cutting hair for like 10 years, man. You just got to show up early. You just got to take walk-ins, and like, they'll come. You put in your time. You got to earn your stripes, man. And it's like, well, earn your stripes in what way? Like, what are they saying? You know what I mean? Like, what is earning stripes to them? It's just like just existing and being there. Like, earning stripes to me is like putting in the work and promoting yourself, being out there. I'm not going to hand out business cards. It's not like 2005 anymore. You have to be visual, living proof, like on a video, your work and testaments to your work. And that's what ultimately is going to bring people in, and not like a business card.
I guess if you can go back to like maybe the like the day before you started like working with us inside the program, like what advice would you give yourself knowing what you know now?
Okay, so actually, before I started working with you guys, it was about like the holidays, like Christmas time. I was actually in the mall handing out business cards. Yeah. I was like, yo, man, the holidays are coming up. do you need a haircut for Christmas or New Year's? And like, yeah. If you bring this card in, I'll give you like $10 off your haircut. It's like, yeah, I'll come. Nobody came, bro.
Yeah.
Like, nobody came. And I was like, something has to change.
So just like, dude, just take the change overall, make the change, and don't pass out business cards. What you tell yourself.
Just, yeah, I don't know. There are better ways to do things and like better ways to learn how to do things. And this has taught me how to learn to promote my business.
What we'll do next, so I'll give like what I want you to think about right now, Patrick. I want you to think about like one message you want to tell the viewers overall. Maybe someone who's going to a similar position as you, or anything motivational or of value that you want to give to them to kind of keep on going on their journey of like pushing forward as a barber, what you've learned as well too. I'll kind of give like a short little spiel right now, kind of give you about 30-45 seconds to think about it, and then it'll be I'll pass it back to you to kind of give you a little spiel, okay? So boys and girls, while Patrick is going ahead and thinking that over, again, we've been able to help Patrick go from making, I think it was like $2,500 a month all the way to $13K a month in about 8 to 9 months. Now, if you want to go ahead and see how we can help you do this in your business, what I'll do is I'll put a booking link down below, a calendar link down below. You can click that link, book a 15-minute call with my team overall. We'll take a look at your business, kind of show you a little bit implementation pathway, what we would do if we were to work with you. And if you want to work with us overall, want to bring that up, we can take you through what that looks like as well too on that call. So you can feel free to click the link down below to book that call. Now, Patrick, what do you got for our viewers?
Ultimately, it's your business, it's your life, it's your decision, whether you want to do something for yourself. You can choose to stay where you are and be content with making whatever you're making. A lot of people that have joined this program have joined because of the financial stress that was put upon them. It doesn't matter where the financial stress came from, but everybody that joined this was hungry for money and hungry for change. And we all joined with the mindset that we're willing to put in the work and that the results will come if we put in the work.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, Patrick, before we hop off, number one, I want to kind of like, I'm pretty sure I told you this already in Miami as well too. I'm super proud about you overall of like what your journey has been thus far. Number one, I can always depend on you every single week, at least 2 or 3 times a week. You're always going to be in a Q&A call. You're always going to show up. You're always going to ask questions, right? You always actually do the work. I think that was like one of my first pieces of feedback to you. Like you always show up to every Q&A call. I just remember like, dude, every single freaking time you implemented and actually improved the video, improved the content, improved the business, every single Q&A call. And it's a testament to where you're at right now, dude. And I think end of the day, I hope you're proud about like how far you've come and how far you're about to go in the barber industry. I just want to let you know I'm very proud of you as well too, brother.
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that, man.
Other than that, Patrick, I thank you very much for overall hopping on this interview. And boys and girls, I'll see you on the next one.